And we're live. Cool. How's it going, everyone? Welcome to the Aftercast. This is episode, I believe, 22. 22 episodes. Wow. This is kind of cool. But I'm Jamie, your host, Victory Saber 77, and this is the Aftercast where we talk anything and everything about Transformers and some other topics that kind of creep in there. But if you guys want to introduce yourselves really quickly. Oh, you didn't do it. Okay, well, I'm going to go with the Golden Boy. Charles, what's up?
I'm Dakota. You can find me everywhere at Primal Sabbath. I do the Transformers Topic Show on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Right, Charles?
I'm Charles. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Optimus4Prez, and Xbox Live is AutoCon365.
Chris?
Hi everyone, you can find me Barrett Prime. Well, I shook everything. You can find me Barrett Prime Games on YouTube and also the good old Facebook. So, hi.
Dalton.
I'm Dalton. You can find me on YouTube at DaltonianCF Reviews and on Twitter DaltonianCF75. And as you can see, I'm in a new spot. I moved. I got a showcase and just decided to move my computer and over. So
Looks snazzy.
Cool. Jay, you're up.
Alright, you can find me on Twitter at NemesisJazz13.
And Josh?
You can find me, G1Xtron, on YouTube, Twitter, and also Instagram. And you can like my Facebook page, the G1Xtron.
And what shows do you do, Josh?
I do Cybercast, the Transformer video podcast, and it goes live every Saturday at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time.
That's what I like to hear.
Yeah, and we have our website that you guys should check out. Join, be a member. It's free. You can post things on the forums. It's cybercastnetwork.com, and you can also, get our exclusive content. Also, just that's kind of the route we're going with. So become a member. And we also have our Twitter page, CybercastNet, and like our Facebook, Cybercast Network, YouTube. Pretty much not doing a lot there, but you still go there. You can go there and subscribe and stuff too still. But all right, guys, we're going to continue the conversation that we kind of had on the Cybercast, and we can dive into some new stuff. But for all you guys, if you didn't see the Cybercast, we were talking about third parties. Should they start making their own figures? If so, how should they go about it? Or should they just stick with Transformers? What are you guys' thoughts? Chris, Charles, Dalton, Jay?
I feel like we've had this
talk all at once, too. There is a glitch in the Matrix, but we're going with it, all right? So just go with it.
I feel like we've had this conversation before.
Like I said, there's a glitch in the Matrix, and we just experienced it again. So let's just go with it.
Speak.
Okay, no one has an opinion. All
right.
So
Next topic.
You guys are the best kinds of viewers.
So I took the red pill.
cool.
Yeah. In regards to third party stuff, we know it works. I mean, everyone's seen the whole thing with it's Steel Core Fans Project, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen the success of that. It's like it doesn't. Everyone's like, oh, is this going to be like an Ultra Magnus thing, or where's it going with this? And people got us like, oh, and then it's like turns out it's like, no, this is actually ours. It's like, well, holy damn. I mean, all right, and a lot of people went with that. A lot of people agreed with that. So it shows that they've got a backing for it straight away. And I think third-party companies, they don't have to always go from past stuff of what Hasbro has done. They've got the backing cause. Like, say if, I don't know, a popular one out there at the moment is Fans Toys. Fans Toys, I mean, if they turned around and said, right, we're going to make our own because of the success of Quake Wave, I mean, it's pretty safe to say everyone in here has Quake Wave, or the majority of you. And even the viewers, I mean, a lot of you will probably have Quake Wave as well. I'm not going to talk about what happened to my Quake Wave, but it's a good figure nevertheless. But yeah. I did actually try and
That's
glue it.
another whole Aftercast all in itself.
But in the long run, I mean, yeah, if they turned around and said we'll make our own, I'd love to see that. And to top that even further, is Steel Core came with his own comic book, right?
Yeah.
Was this Steel Core? Yeah. So it's not just in making toys; they actually give in a background check on it as well. So we actually know the character itself. It isn't just a piece of plastic. It's like, oh yeah, here you go, love it. We know the history of the character itself. So yeah, personal opinion, I think it could go far. It would definitely, it would be a nice breath of fresh air. Stop the Dinobot race, stop the Predaking race. Nor the other combiner race is like, and then it's just a massive gap in the market, which I think everyone will agree with. Bring out their own line. Maybe it's I don't know. It would be nice to see like them make their own good team and bad team, for example. That doesn't always have to be the main good guy is red and the main bad guy is grey or purple for whatever you want it to be. But it'd be nice to see something different. And we know, like I said, we know it works. It's just who has the bottle to carry on with it. And there was an interview. Vandross actually, what was his name? People call him Angry Aaron. But yeah, Vandross did an interview with him anyway, and he was quite. That's the guy. I was thinking of Legolas, but yeah, that I can see where it actually came from. But the whole thing with him is he's very unhappy about people making, like Citizen Saki, quote unquote. He's like, it's basically theft. And I mean, yeah, like I said, I agree with those two guys. Is they've got enough backing, they could just make their own. They don't need to go off by everyone else. Yeah, I don't know. Personally, I would go for it. It's just a question of you guys in here, or even the viewers. How would you like if a new guy just come out, or even a new company said, "Oh, here you go, we're making a team. We've got the comic book to go with it. We've got a storyline. With every figure you buy, it leads up to say like a little story. After you buy, say, 6 in a team, would you go for that or?"
Well, here's the thing: is how many people are just fans of robots, transforming robots, and not just the Transformer brand. You look at Macross, you know, like James.
Look at
you've got a few of those.
Yep.
Yeah, and even myself. I don't know if Dakota does or any of the other do, but I've got a few little Gundams and gotten a little bit quicker at putting them together. So I'm still new.
Pretty sure I
got
went straight to the Gundam booth at Acon first thing.
Yeah. So that was the thing that as soon as I walked in, I was like, "Where are the Gundams?" And Gundam has nothing to do with Transformers, but it was one of those things that I like robots.
Yeah.
So I as long as you put out something that's going to look cool on my shelf, then I'm down for it. The other thing with the third parties is eventually Hasbro is going to get around to doing these things, and they're going to give you something that, like the Roadbuster, the Fans Project Revolver, and the Generations Roadbuster. To me, I think the Revolver maybe looks a little bit better, but it's not $50 better.
Yeah.
Is the whole point that I'm making there. While I think it does look a little bit better, I don't think that the the Hasbro version or Takara whenever it comes out looks that much worse. That I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna have to go with the third party. So I think that it's very close. There, people could draw from either one of them, and at that point, $50 less, I'm gonna go with the Hasbro. Plus, it's officially licensed, and that's something that I dig. So eventually, Hasbro's going to get around, or Takara's going to get around to these things, and your third parties, unless you're, TJ, to where he just collects, all third parties, and that's what he likes, so that's cool. But I'm kind of like, there's no reason to have this anymore. So now let me sell it.
Yeah.
Dalton, he called me out. He goes, "You sold me those Fans Project Insecticons. While they're still cool, and they have their own cool, beefy-looking design, but I believe your exact words was, you knew they were coming out with that bombshell and the
Yep.
rest of these, that's what was going to be my Insecticons. So I'm happy with them. They're not as articulated. They're smaller. They're not as beefed up. But you know what? That's the Insecticons to me because they're supposed to be smaller, and I dig them. So I think at a certain point, third parties, I mean, you're going to have to find something else to do because Hasbro Takara is going to eventually get around to doing it. Like we said on the Cybercast and at BotCon, that they're about 2.5 years behind. Whenever they say, you know what, we want to do this, it takes about 2.5 years to go from idea, sketch, and to production and shipping it out.
Oh yeah.
It's about 2.5 years to where the third parties that can do it anywhere from we've even seen some less, but usually around 6 months to 9 months. Some longer, some shorter.
Depending on when they even announce they're doing it, that has a lot to do with it too.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, all I know is I got burned way too bad by Warbot Defender, and by no means is the Defender toy terrible. It had its flaws, but it was still a good toy. But that Hasbro offering was just so much better.
Yeah.
Like I'm not gonna get burned. Like, no way. I'm very, very picky choosy on the third party stuff.
See, what I think third party should do, or at least one, I haven't seen anyone do it, but give us kind of like that build-a-figure type of toy. Something that we can customize, something that's not, it's easy to put together, kind of like a Gundam kit, maybe, but more like a build-a-fig, so you just snap them together so it's there and they, all that. But we can customize it. It comes with several different heads. It comes with several different, maybe shoulder pads, guns, weapons, something, and it's unpainted. And maybe they give you the paints, maybe they don't. Maybe they tell you, this is the type of paints that you should get. I would like that. Just something I can customize myself and create my own type of character that can fit into my Transformers line. Because, I mean,
Craving that
majority
Primal
of
Prime
all...
treatment,
What?
said craving that Primal Prime treatment, aren't you?
A little bit. But like Steel Core, a lot of us who have it or whatnot incorporate into the Transformers fandom in a way.
Mhm.
That's where it goes. It's not going to sit there on the shelf by itself. It becomes a character that's integrated into it somehow. And we collectors, and we're older, I'd rather just have something that I can take, piece together, customize it myself. It's different from someone else's, and create your own freaking name if you want or whatever you want. But I think it'd be a little bit better. I'm surprised there's no third party that's gone that route yet. But
Yeah,
I don't know.
I thought Fans Project would go that route with Steel Core, give us a few more original bots, but
They're coming out with a trailer for it as well, which spiked the interest again of Steel Core.
Yeah.
So now, they're gonna do a re-release of it to help out with that demand or help sell that trailer, which is a smart idea. So,
because man, what Steel Core goes for on eBay, wow.
exactly, that's one of the highest increased figures, and it's not even based off a Transformer.
Nope.
I mean, that's the point that I'm making here.
If there's anything Fans Project knows, it's trailer add-ons, or not just trailer add-ons, just add-on kits. Like, they freaking wrote the book with the whole buy a trailer or buy this, and then all this stuff happens or whatever. They're second to none in that game, and I'm glad to see them take those roots back up.
I like the way Make Toys does it with we give you the figure and the trailer.
Yeah.
But I get how this was kind of an afterthought, though.
So,
one of the other things is, like I said, I'm just a fan of robots. If you put something cool out, regardless, like with the Brave stuff, I haven't seen any of the animes. I haven't, watched any of it, except for maybe little bitty clips here on YouTube. And as far as the story of it goes, just reading, James articles. But I dig it. They're awesome robots. You can't get, have Great Goldran in front of you, or Masterpiece King X Geyser, or a lot of these other guys, Captain Shark, and have it in your hand and not be like, this is awesome, I want one of these. And the thing is those aren't Transformer characters. So that's why I was thinking, I was like, third party. I mean, now you could be like the Brave series if you wanted. Now, I mean, they had backing with, obviously, is it Sunbow?
Sunrise and Takara. So
Sunrise,
the Gundam designers backing by Takara's money.
Really?
Yeah. So I mean, you had a lot more stable financial backing there, but I'd like to see more third-party companies, come up with their own designs. And as long as you're putting out cool-looking robots, then I think that we could all get on board. But some people are gonna be like, it's not based. Who's this based off of? And you say nobody. And I'm like, eh. And that's what a lot of people thought about Steelcore. Eh. And then someone reviewed it and said this thing is awesome. And then, people have problems forming their own opinions. I think a lot of times they want to hear whatever the popular thought is, and then they just kind of swim with a fish. So
sometimes unpopular thoughts are for sale.
For me, this is kind of on the same subject, but a little bit off. But the reason why I love like G1 Japanese for Transformers and the Beast Wars Japanese stuff, Beast Wars 2nd, Beast Wars Neo, is the fact that it went a different route. You got new characters. You got new life breathed into the series. Headmasters, the Japanese Headmasters, it's okay, but you got recycled characters from Season 3 as far as Rodimus, Hot Rod, all that. But Super God Master Force, yes, you have Jinrai that looks like Optimus Prime, but that Transector was supposed to be for Convoy anyways, but Jinrai got it. But you have new characters, and you like the characters, and it's nice that it's not a recycled storyline where we have to have a Prime, we have to have a Bumblebee, some type of bigger bot like an Ironhide or a Bulkhead. We got all these things. Same thing with Japanese, Beast Wars 2nd. We got Lao Convoy. We don't have. He looks like Optimus Prime, but he's no, Optimus Prime, or he's no Beast Convoy, and it's a new storyline, new take. And that's why I think I like those figures. I like those stories because it's something new. It's something different. It's not your typical characters that have been recycled into a new show. And it would be nice.
Story or whatever.
Yeah, and like same thing with third parties. It would be nice to have these new characters, but it's just a matter of, are they willing to give us more than one a year, 2 a year? Will there be significant fiction? Will they mass produce them so we can get them? All that type of stuff plays into an account.
I think if anyone is to do it, man, it's going to be Aaron Archer. And I don't know, I haven't been able to find anything on his panel at TFCon this year. And, I'm curious, you know what I mean? Curious if he's taken the mantle up.
I'll message it to you.
Okay.
What now?
All right, we still on the conversation. You guys want to chime in, like Charles, Dalton? I know we've gone over it before, Dalton, but we could hear your opinion again if you like, or Jay.
Yeah, I think they should, try to, do their own thing, instead of trying to compete with each other. It'd be kind of refreshing to see them, try something new, put out a new figure, integrate it with a comic book if that'll help the sell. But yeah, I would like to see them, try something new.
What type of design would you like? Would you like, say, a certain vehicle, or would you like it to kind of be a nod to kind of like Transformer-y, so you look at it and you think, yeah, it's kind of like a Cybertronian mode, or do you just want it to be a straight up?
You can't get away from
stick vehicle even.
Period. It's gonna remind you of that, but their own nod.
I think Cybertronian would be the best to go with.
Yeah.
Because if you did it, oh, go ahead.
No, you go.
Okay, yeah, because then you can completely throw out. You can be creative in what you want the vehicle to look like. I mean, I
Yeah.
guess you could hire like concept artists to design new vehicles. Pretty much just draw from your imagination.
Yeah.
Exactly,
Much like
because if
Steel.
you thought about something like, I'm just going to use like Cyclonus or Scourge out there, to where you could start from the very beginning of how do we want this to look. Like we have no idea as far as design that we want it to look like in and its alternate form. But here's the robot that we think that looks really good.
Hmm.
And here's an idea of the way that we can do the transformation to make it intriguing but not too difficult. And it kind of looks like this. And they're like, well, what can we do? Where Scourge, if I also like to tell you that that's a spaceship, you'd be like, it looks like a surfboard with like a little camera on the back of it. It's like, but I'm telling you that it's a spaceship. Then it's like, okay, it's a spaceship. So you're left kind of wide open if you just make your own crazy looking design. Because if you just did a regular jet, then people are going to be like, what does it look like to MP11 or is it G1 or here's the classic Starscream. They're going to do comparisons. You come out with a Lamborghini, you know,
Yeah.
is it Sideswipe, Sunstreaker? Is it the Age of Extinction Lockdown? There's going to be comparisons there. If you leave yourself open to your own creativity, then you're going to have less people like doubt it. Again, going back to Fans Project Steelcore, it's a truck of some sorts. What kind? Nothing here on Earth, So it's its own design, and it looks Cybertronian, and I think that's awesome. And it helps though, because you don't need that extra person or group saying doing the comparisons to Transformers especially when you're trying to do your own thing.
Yeah. I just think if they're going to do their own thing, that's fine. But I also think that if you're going to stay in the Transformers world, why don't you do stuff like what we talked about on the Cybercast? Do something that someone else isn't doing. Thesaurus. Some of the Japanese, Transformer figures. Do some of that type of stuff. Whether you put it into a masterpiece scale or, into the chug line, doesn't really matter. But do something else instead of like, well, they're doing Dinobots, we're going to do Dinobots. They're doing Predaking, we'll do Predaking. Oh, Defensor's out. All right, we're going to do Defensor. It's like, come on.
Yeah,
I
and
thought the
why do
whole
something?
third-party thing was they wanted to get away from Hasbro and give the fans what they wanted. No, now
Mhm.
they're just like copying each other now, and it's just kind of getting to a point where it's like too much.
And here's another thing. Why do something that Hasbro's already put out? Now, bear in mind that Red Guard that they're doing from that Psykill,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it looks good, but I'm like, there's already a Generations Red Guard or Reveal the Shield Red Guard. And that Tempest, that with
Yeah,
the head sticking
Cyclonus,
at
yeah.
her, yeah.
Perfect example.
I
Yeah.
His jet mode looks great. It does look better than the Generations version, but however, I'm like, why didn't you just make it look more IDW? This is IDW based, and that probably would have persuaded a lot more people to go after. Because I
Or
mean, as far as
masterpiece.
robot, yeah, exactly. Because I mean, you have like Reveal the Shield, any type of Cyclonus, you might be less inclined to go after it.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right because I mean, you're hitting a market, with that.
Yeah.
Make it look more IDW because there's a big group of people that are like, I love the IDW designs. A lot of stuff coming out is IDW designs. It's the same thing with the wreckers. A lot of you guys, I know,
Oh,
Dakota, especially, it's a wrecker, I'm buying it.
yep.
It can look like crap, but he's a wrecker, and he's buying it, and he'll be happy with it, and he'll tell you how much he loves it, even though he may not like it. The thing is, it's a wrecker. So I mean, you're hitting that group to where, that's another way to help sell stuff is if you hit those groups. like James said, why don't they come out with these Japanese things? The only thing that I can even think of is it's not as known worldwide. It is obviously in Japan.
Yeah, but all these people are in China, so.
Yeah, and but whenever you're talking about like, I want to make sure that 6-year-old that lives in whatever, Georgia, I want to make sure that he knows who this character is to make him want to buy it.
Yeah.
Or he knows who the character is, so he'll want to get it. Or some 20-year-old, because we are talking third party here, that whatever lives in Connecticut, he wants to buy because he knows who the character is. But whenever you start seeing that, it's whatever cancer,
Yeah.
it's a third party cancer, yes, or squeeze play. Even if you give him the English name that they call him Squeeze Play, he'd probably be like, "Who's Squeeze Play?" Unless he's really into the Japanese Transformers, he doesn't know who he is.
Yeah, which is a shame.
There's a lot of our younger Transformer fans. They probably think whenever they come out with these generations and they have like the Black Shadow or whatever, they probably think, well, oh, a new character.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, has anybody had to explain to anyone yet that RC wasn't blue? She was originally pink yet?
The what?
No.
RC, Transformers Prime. Because I remember I was at work and some people actually asked me about it because they watched the show. And I was just wondering, I wonder how many people out there think that RC originally started out as being blue.
Yeah. And they even referenced that on the show when Bumblebee actually switched his color scheme to stealth mode, and he's like, I could do that, but I would be pink then, and all that. But yeah, but they did the New York Toy Fair version where they had the taxi cab Bumblebee with the pink RC. But yeah, I haven't had any. It is weird that they would take someone. It's like taking Optimus Prime and not giving him that red blue kind of look and giving him some other like a green yellow, and it'd be kind of weird.
Yeah.
But
Green Lantern Prime. There you go.
yeah. But
Costco exclusive or Sam's Club it was for
And
RID.
it's kind of my whole
Fire
problem
Convoy
with the
was yellow.
movies. It's kind of my whole problem with the movies is that they take characters and some of them they make them so unrecognizable.
yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, 'cause I would have no idea who in the heck Crosshairs was.
Target Master, come on, man.
No. I'm talking about I remember Crosshairs, the Target Master, but he looks nothing like the Age of the Extinction movie. Nothing like it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's the same thing with Strafe and not being Swoop and not a Technobot and all. That's just Michael Bay or whoever's pulling the strings on the Age of Extinction and stuff, just pulling names out of a hat because they need to use them or whatever it is. I mean, it just seems so odd that the fan base for Transformers is so huge, in my opinion. I could be wrong, but we kind of take the names. I understand trademarks, expire and all that type of stuff, but it's like, wow, if you have such a successful, company. I mean, the Transformers line here, you would want to try and keep those names. Try and keep the trademarks so you don't have to call them like Autobot Trailbreaker. At least that's okay instead of calling them Trail Cutter or all that type of stuff. But really, when you start doing stuff to people's names like Strafe and Swoop, which that's a broken record, but I think it's just really like you just piss on the fan community
Swoop at that point.
Yeah, they could have done something.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing: is that they actually told James and I in the G1 panel, or maybe it was the Hasbro panel, that they go through the way the naming things go is they want to call them Trailbreaker.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, can't use that. They're like, okay, how about Autobot Trailbreaker? And they're like, can't use that. One, who is using Autobot Trailbreaker?
Trailbreaker.
Or this Autobot something. It seems like Autobot and Decepticon should just be off limits anyway, so you should be able to at least get those. But they can't use that. So they try to do it Trailbreaker Autobot. They can't use that. So then they have to, well, Troll Cutter, and they're like, yeah, that's available. And they're like, that's close enough. Okay, we'll call him Troll Cutter.
Yeah.
You know, so they do go with those steps through all of them, is what they were saying. But I'm just curious to know who already took Autobot Trollbreaker or Trollbreaker
Who dropped the
Autobot?
ball on not keeping the trademark, you know? That
Yeah.
person should be fired. It's like going with, instead of Streetwise, they went with that one Street Smart. Oh, that sounds, well, it's close enough. Street Smart. We'll call it that.
Like 3 out of the 5 Protectobots have different names.
Yeah. So.
Wow.
Because
It is
Hotspot's
just
now Hot Zone, and
What?
How long has it been though since they used the Trailbreaker name? You know?
This is the thing. I thought trademark names last for 10 years. So, for example, look at Swoop. When was the last time we had Swoop? It was animated. That hasn't been 10 years.
Nope.
It hasn't even been 5 or 6. Well, actually, it has. It's been about 5 or 6. But you know what I mean.
And then I
But
think
you can renew them, though. You know, like do what Maddie does. They put them on a box or do something so at least they get the name out there so it's being in circulation or whatever, how they do it. I think Hasbro should have done the same.
and that's sometimes why you get some of these crappy toys that you're like, why is this my whatever? And the reason why is, good example here, Spinister, he's going to be the little target master for Nemesis Prime in the Legends 2-pack.
He was also
Now,
a
some
BotCon toy back in 2012.
Yeah.
So, I mean, some people might be like, I don't want, this to be my Spinister, well, maybe they're just saving that name so that they can come out with one here in the future.
Yeah. Look at Beast Wars. They used a lot of the G1 names for some Beast Wars characters back in '97. I mean, they used it in G2, but they carried over. I mean, that's one of the reasons why at first I hated Beast Wars, was like, Prowl is not an owl. What the hell? And all these
Sound
other,
not an alligator.
Or a lion.
yeah, all these type of characters, and I'm like, well, when you don't, I mean, back then I had no internet, I had no nothing. I was just like, I'm just a Transformers fan growing up with it from the '80s, and I'm not like a collector now, and I'm exposed to it. I can find the knowledge, I can gain all that. But at the time, I'm like, God, these things suck. What the hell? This is not Prowl. I mean, Soundwave's a mutant. Silverbolt's a Fusor type dog like thing. I'm like, what? It was just weird. But then, you kind of understand if you look behind the scenes why they're named that way, even though they've become iconic characters. It's like so they can reuse the name and they always pop up again and stuff like that. But
Well, you don't get a lot of new stuff sometimes because they're like, well, we only have so many slots to fill, and these are the fan favorites, and then these are some that we need to use this name.
Yep.
And they just fill them with that. Darn you kids and your internet today. I remember back in the day, James, Trent, Charles, and I, we waited to get into the month for our service merchandise catalogs.
Yeah.
those catalogs.
Flip it the page, whatever. 80. There's
I
the
love
toys.
The Christmas
10 pages
toys.
of gold.
Yeah. Yep.
Unfortunately, in the 80s, sometimes by the time some of those catalogs came, they're like, hey, check out these toys. They'd already been canned.
Yeah. That's where we saw some of the Centurions, the 2 that never came out, the prototypes. They actually had them in a catalog.
Oh yeah.
They showed those guys. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I want those guys. Those are the new guys. They're in the show. I mean, in the latter half. No. Canceled. What? No. It's like, but you showed them. You have them. They were mocked up. They were there. They had all their gear. And no, they're gone. They're not there.
The show was canceled too, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, there's a lot of things out there that we never got. As far as air raiders, you never got the refinery. I believe there's only 2 or 3 prototypes out in the world. There's never any pictures have been taken of them.
Yeah.
I think you've got a few sectars. I like the sectars. The sectars were on shelves for maybe a month, maybe. And then KB Toys had a thing to where if those weren't if something wasn't selling like hotcakes, like Transformers and GI Joe and Barbie, I think and Masters of the Universe at that time, then after like 2 weeks, that thing went on clearance, 50% off. And I just went in there and I was like, well, I can get like 2 Transformers, or I can get like 6 of these Sectars because they're all clearance, and then they were expensive, and they were big.
KBs were expensive. Yeah.
Yeah, back when we got actual toy stores in malls. KB.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, service merchandise and KB Toys were right across from each other. It was just like I don't even remember what the rest of that mall looked like when I grew up as a kid. But like I was like, we have El Chico Mexican food restaurant, service merchandise, and KB Toys, and I was like, I don't even care what the rest of the mall looks like.
Yep. It's like walking into a Toys R Us back in the 80s where it's just the aisles are just so long. I mean, yeah, they're bigger because you're a small kid, but there was so many toys. You could go to each aisle and you could see all the toys. Their video games, they had those little plastic things, where you get the little ticket, then you go up to the little booth up front after you pay for it, and they go and find it for you. Those were great. Those were the great days. Now we get Toys R Us with Babies R Us. Oh, you'll get this
70% of it's Babies R Us.
Oh, yeah. You'll get this little section for your Transformers where we used to have it just lined up. You had stuff
5 aisles.
Yeah.
Packed.
It was great. I feel sorry for my son at times, even though I understand the discount stores took over, Walmart, Targets, Kmart's, all that, but still, it's hard. I mean, I love that back in the day when we actually got a true toy store.
Because they would have some things that the discount stores wouldn't have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they still do. I remember service merchandise I love that place. All the the weird stuff that other companies are like, yeah, we're not going to pick that up, like Captain Power and Sectars and Visionaries, just like weird stuff. Service merchandise was like, yeah, we'll carry it. In fact, we'll take 50 cases of it. That way we can clearance it all for these kids.
Yep.
That's why they're not in business anymore, probably.
Masters of the Universe was there, I remember. Supernaturals, a lot of those.
Oh yeah, Supernaturals.
All those type of old school 80s stuff. Brave Star, Tiger Sharks, Dino Riders, even Mask, Ghostbusters. Even the real Ghostbusters or the Filmation Ghostbusters.
You remember them? Okay.
Yeah, those were good. But I don't know. I mean, even Skeleton Warriors. I remember those were there. They're all like 3 for $10. They'd always do those little slash the price, and they're like 2 for $5 or 3 for $10 and all that kind of stuff. And you're like,
I remember seeing one time in an old JCPenney catalog. I remember seeing this robot that was made out of like 10 pieces. I don't remember if he was called Translucy or Coniform or something like that. But I was going through YouTube one day, and I was watching a couple of those old Diaclone commercials.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't remember what he was called in the catalog, but when I saw that toy from that Diaclone commercial, I was like, that's what that was.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, today, I try to do a little bit of garage sale shopping, and there's nothing of interest. And everything's broken. Just throw it in the trash. I don't know why you're trying to sell me broken toys and whatever that your kids have had in their mouths and booger stains and all that other stuff. But
have you tried on the flea market?
Back in the 80s, our flea market, I mean, they were awesome. Garage sales, awesome. And you never knew what you're going to find. Even like at Goodwills and stuff like that, sometimes you might find something good.
Yeah.
But back then, dude, my grandma, that's how I got my Metroplex, is picked it up at a Goodwill. I mean, he didn't have his guns and fists, but I had Metroplex the body, which was totally fine for me. I was a kid. I had an imagination.
Yeah.
Something a lot of kids today, they're lacking. Oh, it doesn't have whatever 5-ball joints or whatever.
It's not electronic. That's
it's-
right.
Yeah. Where do you plug in the controller? So, you know, and we grew up with that. I don't want to say birth, but the big boom of Nintendo when that hit.
Oh
Oh, that
yeah.
was awesome.
Oh,
Without any save feature, yeah, I
Yeah.
remember my mom being like, "All right, we got to go to this. What are you talking about? We have spent 4 hours trying to get to level 2 because that's how hard the freaking games were.
Yeah.
And we finally got to level 2. Like, well, we got to go do this for an hour. I was like, dude, pause. There wasn't no saving no games. It was pause. And you're
Pause.
like, you hope that sucker didn't just reset itself or something like that. Because sometimes we come back and the thing had reset itself.
Or it froze on you.
You see that
when you were gone.
red LED flashing and the screen going like green, black, green, black.
Or somebody turned it off.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I hated the day when my Zelda lost a battery, and I'm like, oh my god, I have to go to school. I can't save it because you usually, you pushed in reset or you push power, and then it saved the game for you. And I'm like, oh my god, I can't save this. And I'm like, I told my mom, do not. And I made even like a little kind of wall around my Nintendo. Do not go past this wall. Do not do anything. I have to let it go. I'll turn the TV off, but don't. You may see that red light on. Don't touch it. Don't turn it off. Don't do anything because I'm coming back and I'm going to spend another 5-6 hours on it when I get out of school. But yeah, Nintendo was huge. I mean, that was the talk of going to school, lining up, getting ready to get into class, and everyone's talking about, hey, have you beat King Hippo and Mike Tyson's Punch-Out? Have you gotten this far in like Mega Man? How about Super Mario? And all this type of stuff. And it's like if you weren't in the conversation, you were kind of like outcasted. Like you can go in the back of the line where all the rejects are because you don't have Nintendo and all that type of stuff. I totally remember that.
Dude, kids were hateful too.
I was kind of in that because I had a Sega Master System.
Oh, the Master System, yeah.
See, I remember, this is one of my, like, there's not really a whole lot of memories that I remember from my childhood, but this is one of them. And it was probably the first time that I felt like I wanted to beat this kid up. And I'm sitting in my dad's truck, and I'm playing my Game Boy, and I'm all like, I think, it was probably Kirby's Dream Land because I just loved the crap out of that game. I thought that was the best game ever. And I'm just playing that game, and, waiting for my dad to come back out of the store. I look over, and there's these two kids, and apparently this kid had been just, like, staring at me, waiting for me to, like, look up. And I look up, and he just does his Game Gear like, like color. I was like, is this kid really doing this? So I'm a kid myself, so I'm probably saying things that we can't repeat on here, because my dad ain't in the truck, so I'll be like, I say what I want, so. But I'm just like, this kid trying to. I don't know what he was trying to imply, but I was like, dude, I'm totally down with my Game Boy. So I never even played a Game Gear.
Well, one thing about it is, I can tell you this: I bet you anything, you probably had a better chance of finding games anywhere and more games than you had with that Game Gear, Game Gear.
Yeah, there weren't that many good games for Game Gear.
Good luck playing it for more than 3 hours too. All the batteries it took.
Yeah. Because if you had something like a Sega Master,
that was before rechargeables.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was only one store you could buy Sega Master System games. One store, and that was KB.
Yeah.
Walmart didn't have it. No Kmart. No nothing.
Yep.
You had a couple of comments here. I'll just go through them real quick. I'll make sure they're all right. I just want to make sure they're new. All right. Rob Reap says hi. BVZXA3. I'm just gonna call you BV from here on out. I think with third party they served a need for figures that Hasbro was not doing. However, IDW Springer has been an exception where it does outshine Fans Project Defender. Then you have the Insecticons. If I were to choose, I would still go with the Fans Project because they made the three little guys feel more sustainable. He also says, I still want Fans Project or Make Toys to do the Brave series. Yes. Anything about Brave, yes.
Yeah.
That's what, kind of what we were talking about is they need to go a new direction. I love what KFC did, and I hope that it sells good. I hope it's good quality. I'm just waiting on that thing to ship to my house, and I'll review it as soon as it comes in. But he also says Fans Project is doing Six Night as well as King Dam, which was really a surprise departure from the typical offerings that other companies are doing. Make Toys Defensor is going to be better than the two from TFC. I will say I'm glad two companies are doing it because I can choose which style I want. Totally agree with you there. I have Green Giant over Hercules because Green Giant fits well with the Classics collection I have. With the Dinobots, the Fans Project versions are in scale with the Chug, while Scoria is in scale with the Masterpiece. So, yeah. Oh, and he says, I missed my Nintendo. Damn, you guys took me back. So
yeah.
I actually got my Super Nintendo back from my brother. It was like my original from when I was a kid, and when I moved out, I just never took it with me because my two younger brothers were still, they still played it. So when I moved out, I never took it with me because they were still young. And I was going to be like, well, you guys now are older, so I'm taking my crap back, because it was like bought for both of us like during Christmas or something. So he's had it for all these years, for like 15 years to himself. And I was like, look, it's my turn. And so he boxed it all up and all the games and stuff like that. I probably got like 40 games and the Game Genie and remember the Super Game Boy cartridge where you could put the Super Game Boy in there, and then you put the Game Boy game in there, and you could play it on your
TV,
27-inch TV, which was the big screen back then or something.
Yeah. God, I still have all my stuff. I still have my Nintendo. I rebought a Nintendo because I sold my Nintendo and my games for Mortal Kombat on Genesis when it came out on Mortal Monday. I needed that. But I have my Genesis. I have everything except for the Master System and a Neo Geo. But, oh man. My kids love playing the old school stuff, which is really cool to see that.
Mm-hmm.
But, I don't know.
I think it's too late for me to go back to the original topic.
No, go for it. We kind of drifted there for a little bit, so we need to kind of get back on things.
As far as third party doing their own thing, I don't have a problem with it. But again, they need to put more fiction behind it and just Cybertronian modes if they're going to do Transformers related stuff because that's it's easiest. You don't have to base it off of anything real. I mean, hell, War for Cybertron did it with Megatron. Basically took a brick, put a cannon on it, put some what looked like thrusters, and there you go. You got a Cybertronian tank.
Exactly.
True.
I mean, Mastermind Creations is doing it with the fembots. No wheels, nothing. They're just bricks with windows in their cars.
Yeah.
Well, it's the artists and the designers themselves. It's
based off of the IDW design, being fully hover car, like the original Blur was supposed to be.
Well, here's something. What if we didn't have IDW? Would a lot of the third-party companies be able to give us some of these type of fan fiction stuff, or are they going to have to just give us homages or their own interpretations of these characters?
I think they'd have to do their own interpretation.
Or would they still do them? Let's put it that way. Do you think they would continue going on if they didn't have any IDW?
Trent, your mic is rubbing.
It? I'm sorry. I'll be right back.
No problem. But I don't know. I just think that IDW really plays a factor in third-party stuff at times. but it also plays a factor in Hasbro also.
I'm pretty sure both Hasbro and third party will be fine without the IDW designs.
They do, but they work really hand in hand with each other. I mean, look at the Generations line.
That's why you got Brainstorm instead of another headmaster. I mean, these are the. I'm not giving opinions here. These are the words from Mark Webber, which is the head dude as far as global branding for Hasbro. So, said that the reason why you got Brainstorm is because we like to do the IDW stuff, and we obviously saw he was popular from that, so that's what we went with. That's why you got him instead of a Chrome Dome or something else, Yeah.
It's just, I mean, it just shows that fiction plays a huge part in designing and what transpires in as far as final product. So I don't know. It'd be kind of a cool little like what if, if there was no IDW, where would Transformers be going? Where would third party stuff be going? Would Fans Project be as successful as they are now? I'm sure they would be, but you never know. I mean,
yeah.
But,
I mean,
if there was no IDW,
as far as Fans Project goes, they'd definitely be still way up there without IDW because they base it off of anime as it is.
Yeah.
If they can make it look like something anime, they'll put it out.
Well, that's the same with Master Creations.
And did City Commander come out before Ultra Magnus showed up in before Spotlight Ultra Magnus in the IDW comics?
Yeah, they might. No, but
back in 2009.
You're looking at Dreamwave back then, are you?
I would have been Dreamwave.
Yeah. So I don't know, but it just seems like the fiction plays a part, and it's just people don't realize that at times. But
well, think about it. If there was no fiction, I mean, where would say Steel Core be? Like, right, okay, we've got no actual fiction to go off by, so let's just chuck it out. Or even modern ones that are coming out today is they base it. If there was no IDW, it's like, right, okay, let's make a figure. So what have we got to go off by? Right, we've got Transformers series. Let's watch the entire series and see what this dude did in the entire series and go from that. Versus something, in a comic book is like, right, we don't have to watch through 50 episodes. It's page. It's all here in dialogue written. We don't have to listen to it, write it down, bring up not a biography. I don't want to say a biography. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I haven't heard anyone mention this yet, but look at Windblade coming out from Hasbro.
Yeah.
I mean, that was all based on a fan poll. And now we're getting fiction, right.
She was integrated into
prototypes were being made. They were making the comics, and now we're getting the figure after the comics have been released.
Yeah. Well, going back to third party, the fiction matters. I get that, but it would be nice if it wasn't a leaflet comic book that came with it, some little, maybe 20-page thing. It would be nice if. I understand it takes a lot of money to do anime stuff. But you could get with a publisher, do some artwork. I'm sure Pat Lee's out there that needs a job, and create some fiction in a comic book, and maybe put it into a trade paperback or put it into some collective means or something that could generate some more popularity for it.
Or
build a world.
Or I remember you mentioned animation might be expensive. Can go old school, like the Japanese used to do with their Transform or Diaclone. Don't have art, just use stop motion. We're using the actual toy, like that guy Louis Leterrier. Man, if he'd have did that for Hercules before that figure came out, I think it probably would have showed even more.
Yeah.
And then what he just did with Attack on Giant and that Battle Tanker, wow.
That's the best I've seen stop motion wise ever. Period.
Yeah.
It's really, really cool.
Or that's what they could do. A lot of third parties could use fan fiction, like some
Yeah.
people that do some good fan stuff. Fans put it out there, integrate it into your. It wouldn't hurt you, but I don't know. But any more on the topic, or do you want to switch topics, or do you want to call it good since we've almost been going for about? Well, no, actually we started later, so we've been going for about an hour. But anything else you guys want to talk about? I mean,
one quick question right quick. Do you think that maybe some of the third parties might kind of sort of be rubbing off on the comics? Because I remember looking at Ultra Magnus about a couple of issues ago, and I'm starting to see that. And I noticed he has like dual shoulder rocket launchers on there. And I was like, when did he ever? Oh yeah, City Commander. I wonder. Not saying anything, but just kind of wondering.
That's a possibility. I know that Hasbro told me that they do pay attention to third parties.
Yeah.
They watch their every move. They know exactly what they're doing.
And they like it. You do like the stuff that they put out.
Yeah, and they said, and they like it. And they realize that these are fans as well. But whenever it comes to them designing a figure, that they do it completely, the designers do it completely from scratch, from idea in the beginning to production. It's completely Hasbro idea. I said, do they take any nods maybe from third parties, or say, I like this, and you're not obviously copying, just like they're not completely copying the way you do your transformation, but be like, you know what, the way that was done, I do like that, so I'd like to, implement that. They're like, absolutely not. And if they were here right now answering your questions, they would be extremely pissed at you for even asking something like that. So that was, basically Mark Webber's words to me. I was like, good to know. So.
Same as what that Aaron guy said in the Evangelist interview. He's like, he said, don't get us wrong. He said, like, I love what they're doing in a way. He said, because it's not easy. He said, the whole start to finish, he said, it takes some great level of difficulty to get that out. He said, you got to ship everything, you got to categorize everything, and the whole shebang. He said, but it's pretty much exactly what you just said. He's like, it takes, we have a blank screen all gridded out, and then it's like, right, let's build, he said, with third parties. Well, he didn't call them third parties. He said it was like a three-letter word. So I can't remember what he called them. But he said, for example, XYZ companies out there, they look at our designs and say, right, bring that over to this screen. Let's change this. Right, that's the overall design now. Let's give it a transformation. So let's design it like that. He said, so half of the job is in design process is already done. He said, or you could even go further than that. And this is where he mentioned like the whole likability of the character. And this is where he brought up KFCs like Citizen Stack. People already know that that's Ultra Magnus. He said, so that gives them even more reason to get it. So it's basically it's effortless. All they have to do is, the majority of it is copy paste stuff, and it's like that. I do get where Hasbro's coming from with that. From that point of view, is because I never really looked at it like that before. But yeah, I get it.
Let me ask this question. When the designers are designing a toy for Hasbro or a figure, are they given certain limitations? Like, you can only have this much articulation or this many pins in it for the joints or something like that?
I'm sure they have something, but I'm sure they have a budget.
A budget.
They know exactly what entails in that budget, how much tooling they would put into that figure. And I'm sure they make up 4 or 5 mock-ups, and they look at it and they choose which one is the best, which one is the the smoother transformation, the one that looks maybe closer to if they're trying to go with the IDW look, and then go from there. because it's a huge process that they have to go through. I mean, let's look at the 2015 animated series. Those toys have already probably been designed and made. They're just waiting to go into production or whatnot. We just don't see them because they're always a step ahead. They're always, ahead of the game, and they already have all this stuff. They're not going to come out and say like, well, these are just, at first when we saw the Bumblebee, well, this isn't a final, product or whatnot, but they already have it. They know it. Because there's no way that they can get into production. They already have all these things done.
Yeah.
And they're there. They're
It takes 2.5 years. So
yeah.
we know it's already done.
So it's just, a matter of, it's just kind of cool to be like, well, they probably already have like, they had Superion probably 2, 3 years, 4 years back, even probably when TFC came out with their Uranus. They were probably like, well, we're already doing that, but we can't announce it yet because that's not in the plan. That's not in the whole scheme of things. We have to go through the whole tier of, well, this was the next step that we're going to do. We have a movie now. We also have an animated series we have to do. We have to go through this. They can't just do what third parties can do, like, well, we don't have any constraints. We're just going to throw it out there. And we're gonna beat Hasbro to the punch. Where Hasbro's like, well, you can't, technically, yes, you're beating us to the punch, but we have more constraints. We can't do that.
Yeah.
And
their whole game plan is to keep on, anytime you have shareholders, it's, let's just keep on doing, where we're at. We want to be, increasing in sales and increasing in popularity. And that's the way that their whole, design goes as far as the way they release stuff. Like James said,
they're strengthening the brand is what they're doing.
Strengthening the brand is more important than getting the first one out there.
Mm-hmm.
The easiest way I can explain it, most of you guys know that already, but it would be like doing a review, like you and someone else get a product in first, and one person just kind of rushing through it, and because they get the first video up, and the other person taking the time, getting a little bit more familiar with it, to where they can give you all the positives and negatives and give a proper review. If you just want to see the figure first, then you watch, guy A. But if you want a real review on whether you should pay your money for this, you watch guy B. It wasn't first, but it was the proper, proper way, and that's the easiest way I can kind of explain it as far as people that, here watching YouTube and stuff like that. So,
yeah, and touch on what Jane said. There's definitely proof of that because what is that? That Transformers Prime Sergeant Cup. He was Sergeant Cup over here, and in Japan he's Ironhide.
Yep.
If you go online and look up that figure, you'll see a mock-up of Ironhide, Transformers Prime Ironhide. He has a nose, and if you look in, like, I think it's like the lower right corner, it says 2009 on there. And the show debuted, and the show actually came on in 2011, something like that.
Yeah, debuted on the Hub Network.
Yep. So they had that figure mocked up about a full. Did that figure come out in 2011 or 2012?
It is 2012.
Yeah.
Because it was one of the later figures to come out.
Yeah. They had that figure in plan about almost a full 3 years before they released it.
Yeah, and there's other constraints like the movie coming out. They, we're going to have Ironhide instead of Bulkhead, but since Ironhide died, they decided we have to go with Bulkhead because they don't want to confuse the children and all that type of stuff. And it's that type of mentality where there's a lot of thought process and whatever. I mean, it's still, I just want my toys. It's like I want this. I want my G1 reissues. Let's do it. Let's get it out. I don't really care about the underlying, like, die cast is more money, rubber tires is more money. The mold's gone. I'll go and search for free to find the mold or something, or I will go to the KO companies and steal their molds and bring them to Hasbro or Takara so I can get, a reissued of the Stunticons. Then we can maybe get the reissued version of the G2 Stunticons, all that type of stuff. But it's always wishful thinking. It's always like we talk about, why don't they do Mask? Hasbro has the rights now to Mask. Why can't they do it? There's probably so many underlying factors that
Yeah.
they don't want to touch it because of certain things. I don't know, but yet they'll hint to it in like the Transformers Prime series. Oh, why don't you take the new concept mask vehicle that's a covert CIA operations that we have here, Prime? Okay, thanks. Kind of jabbing the wound in there for Mask, or here's Matt Tracker from the nice 25th anniversary G.I. Joe line. It's another jab. It's like, but we're not going to give it. But yet they're using the names and they're recycling that name out there to keep the trademark.
The only way that they could insult us more is if Jack was Matt Tracker, and they're like, he's like, hey, I'm Matt Tracker. Instead we were like, oh, we're gonna get it. It doesn't.
His real name is Matt Tracker. Miko's real name is like Gloria Baker. Raph is actually Bruce Sato.
Let me ask you this: the reason
Cyrus is Miles Mayhem.
Is the reason that the first edition, like for example, I'll just go out there and use it. The first edition Optimus is the reason why he didn't get like a widespread release is because that figure costs too much to mass produce on that level.
I don't know.
I don't think so because it was mass produced overseas and Canada. I mean, all other regions except for I don't know why the U.S. was not going to get any of the first editions. I don't know if it's because of the sales at Toys R Us, because that's the only place that you could get the first editions at, and then they finally released them, at the end of the year or, almost into the next year, but they were, again, Toys R Us exclusives. But you could go to a Walmart in Canada or you could go to a Target and you could find the first editions. And I don't know why that they decided that.
They did
that
the
whole
Prime
fiasco was
line.
weird.
The Prime line, a little strange, is like they came out with the cartoon.
Yeah, way ahead
earlier than they did with the toys, which usually doesn't happen like that. Like that you got the TF4 stuff, you got the toys ahead of the movie. So it was a bit strange. Don't know what happened there. Somebody got fired, but somebody did after that. I mean, you're talking about thousands of dollars.
Yeah, and what's really sad is that some of those toys that came out the regular PRID, PRID, like that Optimus Prime. The only thing,
like that.
yeah, it's like a couple of reviewers were saying for like that Bulkhead and Optimus. The only thing, they were good, but it's just that one thing that counted against them is that there were better versions out there. If they didn't exist, that Optimus Prime would have been fine.
Yeah.
With the TF4 movie, every time I look at Hound, I want to call him Bulkhead. Bulkhead.
Yeah, it's true.
He looks like a Bulkhead. He just seems like he's Bulkhead. But I gotta think that
they just slapped
were
Hound's
we
name
close to losing Hound's name? Because here's the whole thing: is today, in the past, let's say 10 years, there's going to be, or even 5 years, more people, if they just became Transformers fans in the past 5 years, is what I'm saying, can relate to Bulkhead than they can Hound. They're probably like, who the heck is Hound? But besides a classics release or whatever like that, they don't know who the character is. So this gets me thinking, because we were talking about naming rights and stuff like that earlier, that are they making sure that they got that name? I mean,
probably
he wasn't Autobot Hound. I don't think, was he? He was just Hound.
Yeah, I think he was.
Yeah. It was
So maybe a Masterpiece Hound?
Yeah, but that would be Takara. And I don't know. They need to secure the rights. Or might already have it, but
when they come over here to the U.S., doesn't Hasbro produce it, or is it still Takara still producing it?
Takara.
Okay.
Takara.
Takara? Okay, so Takara even makes the masterpieces for Hasbro to put their name on.
Well, I thought you were talking about like whenever we get them shipped over here. Yeah, it's Takara does the mold and all that stuff like that. Just the Hasbro people, they're
goes to the Hasbro factories overseas.
Yeah.
Okay.
All that type of crap. But the ones who are in charge of the masterpiece line is Takara. they're the ones who would be doing the whole like shebang on who, hound, you know,
It figures.
and all that type of stuff. They have the grand master plan, and Hasbro's just going along for the ride. It seems like.
Exactly. I believe you. I definitely believe you on that one.
So, but I think I'm glad. I mean, would you rather have Hasbro in charge of Masterpiece, or would you rather keep Takara in charge? I mean,
yeah, I get it. Point taken. Point taken.
Otherwise, we would not be getting the Star Saber for one fan vote, because if it was Hasbro, it would be probably done here in the U.S. And what would get voted, probably like Ironhide or something crap like that.
Yeah.
Hey.
Well, I'd like to have an Ironhide. I'm not dissing on the dude, I'm just saying that I'd much rather have Star Saber. The thing is like, it even goes to what we were saying with people, they kind of identify with characters, and that's the way they buy is they like Ironhide.
Yeah, because that what's that die something that Fans Project is doing. I'm wondering,
the Die King guy. Yeah.
I'm like, if you slap some black paint on him in a couple of places, could that be Atlas?
Atlas, yeah. But he's 3 components.
Oh yeah.
So, but I mean, like going back to what we're saying with Hound, it wouldn't surprise me if they repaint him red and called him Ironhide. Or something. Maybe, like, oh, Ironhide really didn't die. Somehow they were able to get a spark.
It's funny you mention that, because I've been looking at that Hound figure. I'm like, if you give him a new head and paint him red, he wouldn't be a bad Hound.
Well, then they could
bad Ironhide. I'm sorry.
Michael Bay's already left the door open to where you can be dead, but your head can transfer all your memories or whatever and personality into a new body created by a human. So that thing didn't even make sense, to be honest. But there you go.
Mm-hmm. But here's what Optimus Prime said. They ain't got no. But do they have a spark?
Well, the creation matrix can create anything, right? I mean, it can pull a spark out of the Allspark, right, and create. I mean, that's the whole point of the matrix. Mm-hmm. That's part of the power of the matrix. But I don't know. I mean, it wouldn't pass. To use the mold again. I mean, honestly, the Hound mold, unless you repaint it as Ironhide, I mean, there's no really other uses.
Yeah,
for that
pretty
mold.
Much.
Unless you come up with some weird, obscure character that's like, oh, okay, maybe. I could maybe see it work.
Unless they decide to give him...
If it was up to Michael Bay, I mean, could be Triptychon, who knows, so...
You got Scattershot now because he has all the guns. There's your other techno.
Or, I mean, give him a new paint scheme, new weapons, new head, and there's Pyro.
Pyro. My GPS, wonderful figure. Swear to God, if he breaks, I'm gonna be so pissed off. But yeah, that'd be cool. I would like that. But then you're gonna have to give him a prime head. But yeah.
If they did Ironhide, which is kind of weird. That was one of the few. That was the only Prime figure that actually had a nose for some reason.
Prime, or I mean Ironhide, you mean?
Ironhide, yeah. Prime Cup Sergeant Cup Ironhide. He had a nose.
Oh, from the Prime line, yeah.
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 He was a great. I liked it. It's just that it was too small.
Yeah, it should have been Voyager class to like go up against like Skyquake and Dreadwind.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
they still need to get Skyquake.
I got 2 of them. Yeah. Take that, Dalton. Didn't Dalton me on that one. I got 2, baby. Yeah, right there.
I had people that were saying that they were finding him at like the discount stores and stuff.
Yep.
Who, Dalton?
You're just giving out money. Hi, how you doing? I'm Dalton. You want $2? Here you go.
Well, I mean...
and here's a penny.
He's at the penny store. They got some good stuff at the dollar store. Whoa!
Oh, God, that would be so fun to see.
That is too expensive.
Him at the oh man, Dalton, I need you at the dollar store. Just like give him $1. That penny's yours, right there.
We
But
gotta do it the way he did it. Oh, and you can keep the
Oh
penny.
God.
sorry for reminding you, but it's this classic. It was great. We're not trying to rib on you too much, but it was fun. It was funny.
Cheap ass. What?
Okay, well, yeah, it worked. But let's see. Any other topics you guys want to talk about? Chris, you're quiet. Jay, are you still alive?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay,
Oh,
cool. Charles,
Jay's
you asleep? Or
here?
you
Okay.
still? Wake up, everyone. I want subjects from Chris, Charles, and Jay. Go.
Oh, we're still
So-
doing this? All
Oh,
right.
we are. We're still alive.
You're like, I need new topics from you. And I was like, oh my god, dude, how much longer?
Well, but we started a half hour later. But if you want, we can end it if there's not a lot anything else going on. I mean, that's
All
cool
right.
too. We got 11 viewers.
All right, let's keep on
appreciate it.
going then.
Thank-
Yeah.
Thanks for all of. We start to get more viewers the later we go. So
God,
yeah, we're pulling
I'm
all
gonna be
nighter.
drunk soon. So
Gonna start slurring our words. I'm gonna start taking off
start
clothing.
giving stuff away. So we're gonna give away Triptychon, and Dave is gonna give away like all kinds of.
All the transforming robots you see are gonna be given away in one big bulk. And all you gotta do is just PM me your name.
Dude, I would sober up
That's it.
real quick.
But yeah. So any other things you guys want to talk about? I'm still waiting, Chris. I see you. there.
Honestly, my brain's off.
Okay.
I'm,
We'll
Charles-
get another cup of
I'm
tea then.
flowing. I already made a cup of tea.
Make another.
Make some coffee.
I won't go to sleep then.
Charles, what do you got? You got something for us? Come on.
Nah.
How do you like that third party? You got quadruple U there.
Well, I like him a lot. Other than his waist, when he's in robot mode, his waist is kind of loose. But other than that, he's great. I kept him in wolf mode for almost 2 days, and finally put him back in his robot mode.
Cool.
Yeah.
And it sold you on to buy all the rest of the Fans Project Headmasters?
Even before I picked this one up, I knew.
Knew that was the route. Knew that was the marriage you were going with.
Yeah.
Fans Project, not Toy World.
Right.
Cool.
Yeah, I gotta pick up their Chrome Dome. I'm not doing the subscription service because it's not a Headmaster. I'm picking up the Hasbro Brainstorm, not getting the others. From the third
Smart Robin.
Nah.
What's he lying about?
What's he lying about?
It's funny you should mention that. I really wish Fans Project would do a re-release of that code, because it's like I heard about him one day and then that same day he was gone.
I just got them because they did a special where it was like a certain percentage of the price. The sale went to Toys for Tots or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And that's why I did it. And I was like, oh, I'll do this. Sure.
Oh yeah.
The second release was actually the second release they did at their normal price, and then when he had a third release, he went up.
I didn't know he had 3 releases. Wow.
Or what's his? Yeah, I think it was a third release. He went up in price because
Okay.
I got the second release, but it was real short.
Talking about the black repaint.
No, the original code.
Iris, whatever he's called.
Yeah. I do like
That one was a Fans Project 4 exclusive.
Okay.
Yeah. I do like that black and red paint job on that code virus. I do like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks nice.
I'm just waiting on Scorponok. I keep forgetting his name. What is it? Keep saying Pendulum. It's not Pendulum. Animus. Yeah. Oh, what a weird name.
Call him make toy Scorponok. I mean,
There you go.
He does.
let's call an apple, okay? So let's make toy Scorponok.
Pretty much.
I really want him that bad. I mean, the only reason is God, from the first time I even started collecting Transformers is I loved Ellen John Omega Supreme because he was like this really like bulky dude with like humongous like forearms and biceps. I liked the big bulkiness, and then seeing that is like that's the most bulkiest Transformer I've ever seen. It's just, I mean, this could sound weird, but as like toy v toys, like I would not want that hitting me. I wouldn't even want it just pimp slapping me. I mean, God, that would knock you out. That's like TF4 Prime, like him knock. What's that guy got incinerated or turned into metal and just knocked him with his shotgun, just like and just flew him across like. But yeah, it just looks so awesome. It's just the weight. It's like, yeah, he might look big, but does anyone know the weight of him at least?
Which guy?
For Scorpio, Scorponok.
I didn't. Well, here's the thing: is you kind of saw him compare with Utopia. He looks bigger in mass than Utopia, and I can tell you that Utopia, while I didn't get to pick him up myself, he just sounded and looked heavy. And what I mean by that is, sounded is when the guy picked him up, you could, hear the guy like, I don't want to say like, like he couldn't lift like, yeah, like he was lightweight, like, or anything like that. But what you could hear it from whenever it set and left the table. Whenever he set it down on the table, that everything else kind of, even though he set it down gently, everything else kind of just,
yeah,
I don't know, kind of shook a little bit, whatever. Just because he was definitely the weight. I would think.
Talking Utopia?
Yeah, I would say probably just under Fort Max heavy.
Oh.
Is the
What's
way
the
that
price
he sounded.
differences between them though?
Between what?
Is the Scorponok's going to be like $400, isn't he?
Oh, the Utopia.
Well, we haven't heard the price on Scorponok, but Utopia is going to be $100.
I'd assume it'd be around the same.
If it's going to be the same, then you'd know straight away then there's going to be some hollow parts because there's no way that guy could be the same price as him when he's a bigger part. There's just a lot more to him, plain and simple. Like it looks like he'd be really. It looks like they put the effort in. I think he might be more. He'd have to.
I think it'd be about the same.
If not, at least $50 more.
Just because you got Utopia that has a better city mode, better alt modes than. Scorponok doesn't have a great city mode. I mean, it looks like it's an afterthought. It looks nice, but it's not like really nice like Utopia.
It
doesn't look like a ruined
ship, like an inside of lockdown ship or something.
Really? He does?
Yeah,
This is what his alt mode look like?
It's kind of like Dark Mount in Prime.
Okay.
Wait,
Just
Trent,
Yeah.
you know this. It was on the Cybercast, so you didn't see it? You didn't watch?
I got
video
in
format.
late and I was watching it. That's when I saw Jan's notification that Aftercast was up. But yeah, I did get to like the first part where you guys were talking about some of
Ragging
the
on the
parties. Yeah.
The little pop. I can't even make the popping sound.
He mentioned Leonidas that they were doing, the third party Lio convoy.
Yeah.
Dakota.
Oh, and y'all were doing the comparisons between, and you, Josh, were talking about the differences between like Revolver Core and the Roadbuster.
Oh yeah, so that was yeah. It's a little bit later on when we got in third parties.
Yeah.
See, and speaking of Revolver, the only reason I'd ever consider getting that over the Hasbro is because of the basically
Robot?
rack and ruin that come with the upgrades. Make them just a little bit taller, more massive.
How do you know Hasbro's not going to do?
Well, I
You
know
would pay that
Hasbro
$200
is
dollars just to have that.
No.
Or because you got the Revolver, whatever, 75, and then you're gonna have to pay, whatever,
Yeah.
60, 75, 150 for those two. Well, there's gonna be some, just like a a different company came out with just the add-on pieces for Revolver, so you don't have to buy those other two figures.
Yes.
Someone's gonna come
somebody
out with
did do
some
that.
add-on pieces for Hasbro's Takara. So I mean, you ain't got nothing to worry about there. So
Well, and
And
at the
then it
same
would have been
time,
nice.
I
sorry.
don't ever see Hasbro coming out with a Rack and Ruin.
Yeah, they could surprise you. never
They
know.
could, but still, though, it kind of would have been nice if I think Fans Project might have kind of like painted themselves into a corner by having the two of them only come together, because now maybe somebody wanted to get just one of the Rack and Ruin twins, maybe just one of them.
Yeah.
Last year, 29 years into the Transformer game, I gotta tell you, I don't ever see them coming out with a Whirl or Roadbuster, but here we go. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're
But is it
Bandai property. So
but is that due to the popularity of the Wreckers?
Yeah, but we're getting a Jetfire too. Never thought they would touch that figure also.
Yeah.
And have it. I mean, even though it's a different mold and whatnot, but it's like the Roadbuster and Whirl. It
Yeah.
has nods to the original G1.
again, that goes back to Transformers was ripping off everybody.
But they did it right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they basically undercut everyone by like, hey, here's a little bit of money. We want to reuse this, repaint this. Is that all right? Yeah,
But
so we'll take
Didn't
a
they
little bit of
get
your money.
permission? But didn't they get permission from the original manufacturers to use that I'll call it a Valkyrie mold to make it into Jetfire?
Hasbro did. Takara never
Or
did.
didn't? Yeah.
Takara never did anything with any Bandai type mold, but they did it for Hasbro did it for the U.S. release, but we never saw it in the cartoon. We never saw it in the comic book, except for UK comics. For some reason, we got to see Whirl. We got to see the obviously the Wreckers and stuff. So kind of odd.
Yes. Never saw Roadbuster and Whirl in the cartoon. Did see Skyfire.
Yeah.
I was wondering. Even as a little kid, I was wondering why he looked nothing like the toy. Why they looked nothing like each other.
Oh yeah. Well, think of Ironhide. I hated the fact that I'm like, what is Ironhide? And I don't want to sound bad, but like, is he crippled? Because why does he have a little sled that he has to sit on?
Yeah.
And he has no head except
Where's
for that
his
sticker.
head?
And like same thing with Ratchet. I'm like, well, what's wrong with Braun's arms? Why are they like little hooks, and they're skinny for a dude who's supposed to be the second strongest Autobot back in the day? And I can't lift anything with the guy, because they're like bent and they're all crooked and he can't even do anything with them.
Yeah, when Megatron transforms, where did his trigger go?
So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of, if you look at the original '84, series, some of those Transformers were like, wow, And I know the Marvel comic books, they went off of what the toys looked like. But the cartoon obviously didn't because they wanted it to be a little bit better. But it's like, wow, kind of weird. Trailbreaker, all these guys. But last question real quickly, and then we'll get off here. But, last week I asked you guys, hey, what's your, your best pickup so far since we've hit the halfway mark? What is your, what's your pickup that you want to make by the end of the year? Is there one? It doesn't have to be something that's coming out new. It could be like an old school G1 figure, or whatever it may be. Is there a figure that you are planning on getting in this year that you cannot wait, or, I'm putting money aside to get it if I find a good price? I'm all over it. Anything?
Michael Blade's Creations Onslaught, without a doubt. Get in it. Done.
I'd say Make Toys Quantron or Demolition Crew.
So we have two third parties. Wow. We're just talking about third parties, and we got two people anticipating. Okay, cool. All right.
I hate third parties.
I'm getting Michael Blaze on. I'm getting.
Or
That's cool, though. I like that.
Jetfire.
Oh, don't change it now. Don't change it. You already committed.
Well,
It's
I guess it's easier to.
wear a shirt that says "I heart Michael Bay" and be like, "TF4 sucks."
Well, I guess it's easy to say third party because, with Hasbro or regular with Hasbro. Yeah, there are some figures we're looking forward to, but you got a greater chance of being able to walk into the store and just pick one up than
Yeah.
having to wait and keep track and see if this third-party figure is going to come out and having to say, I mean, because you can walk into a store and pick up a Hasbro figure probably on your grocery money. With third parties, you might have to kind of like put some change back for a while,
Well, and I'm
depending on
also
what you
talking
want.
anything though too. I mean, if
Mhm.
there's a G1 figure that you
Or
like
masterpiece.
want, masterpiece or anything that you kind of like, or I'm missing one Transformers Prime figure and I want to pick that up because I want to finish the whole series. You know, it could be anything. I mean, if it's third party, that's cool too. It doesn't have to come out this year. It's just something that you have been thinking about. It's on your wish list. It's on, that you think this year is going to be the year I'm going to pull the trigger, and I have the funds for it. I will have the funds for it, and I want to get it. So,
Masterpiece side swipe.
And it's only one figure.
Well, preferably. I mean, I don't
Okay.
want a huge list, but
Exactly. Okay.
do a couple if you want. But masterpiece sideswipe. I mean, Sunstreak. Oh god, that'd be nice. Masterpiece sideswipe, huh?
Yes.
All right.
Let me see,
I
for me,
plan
Masterpiece would be
trying to get him
Prowl.
before Ultra Magnus comes
Yeah,
out.
we're not skipping around and going into masterpiece stuff this year. It's just pick up something that you want to get. You've already answered it, Dalton. You're done. I will mute you. So, Jay goes with masterpiece sideswipe. Okay, cool. We got Microblaze Onslaught for Chris. Charles, what's up?
Oh, that's a tough one. There's a few of them that I'm trying to get this year, but
Let's keep it to like 2.
Fans Project Headmaster.
Which one?
I don't care, either Hardhead or any of them that are, if they're coming out this year,
That's the thing about Fans Project Headmasters. I mean, you say Hardhead. I mean, that could be 2014, 2015, 2016. You don't know.
Yeah.
I also want to get my hands on that Hasbro Leader Class Jetfire.
Yeah.
What about Kalis?
Planet X.
Yeah, that's what he's gonna get, but it was sold out, so he went for Weird Wolf.
So that could have been your first third party.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It was supposed to be, but he's like, no, I'll wait till the next morning, and it was sold out the next morning. It was in stock that night when I showed it to him.
All right. Torrance, how about you?
Okay. Depending on if he comes out this year, I definitely want that. Is it made by Maki Toys or I forgot the name of the company, but that Commodus, the one that's the third-party Turmoil.
That's the
Oh, that's Mastermind.
Mastermind Crazy. Okay, Turmoil.
That's cool.
If he doesn't come out this year, mine's probably gonna be an official release.
What?
Why the hell not? No guarantees I'll actually get it, but yeah, I would like to
Okay,
get
we lost you there. What was it again?
Yeah, we heard special release, and then we didn't hear you for like 5 seconds.
Well, that's because
What you got?
he messed me up there when he said the magic word. Yeah. Well, that Maki Toy Commodus, but if he doesn't come out this year, hell, I am interested in getting just to see it. The Masterpiece Ultra Magnus.
Oh,
I was going to say it's about time someone said that. I was like, no one's going to say Magnus, really?
Has Chris already gone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chris, keep your mouth shut.
Well, I only said one. I only said one. Everyone else has said two. So.
I said one.
What are you looking forward to?
Me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna say as far as official stuff, I'm gonna say Masterpiece Star Saber. That's something that I think there's so much that they could build off of. This might be our first time to get a combining Masterpiece figure. So I think that you kind of open up a lot of doors there. Also, it was a fan vote. So this thing, if it sells like hotcakes, maybe we get more fan votes.
Yeah.
If it sells like hotcakes and it's ends up being a combiner. Maybe we'll get more than those. It has the opportunity to open the doors for a lot of things. Plus the fact that it's a Japanese character.
Yeah.
So that opens the door for a lot more things. So I look at him as kind of the entryway on getting a lot more of expanding this masterpiece line.
Yeah. Getting out of the 84 series.
Yeah, and not that I don't like it, and I want those characters, but I'd like you to kind of mix it around like you do the Generations line. You like pick here and there, you go back and forth and stuff like that. And I think that would only increase the popularity as well, because if you did the Generations line to where you're like, all right, so for this year we're doing nothing but Beast Wars. Well, hey, guess what? No money from me, because I don't care about the stuff. You know, if it was just G1 characters, a lot of people relate. If it was just Armada characters only or something like that, Chris and whatever Jay, they're excited. Me. James, we're not buying. So if you kind of do the in between, like they're doing right now, and they implemented that into the masterpiece, I think that you get a lot more people involved, and that Beast War fan. Maybe if you do one Beast War thing, we sucker them in a little bit more, and now they get into it, and the more people buying, the more people collecting. They'll keep on coming out with more, and they'll keep on coming out with them faster because they're like, look, we've got a money train going on here. We got to keep it up.
Yeah.
Which is why I hope that Scoop sells well, because that might give them the incentive to bring out more obscure characters.
Because like I said, I'd love to get more of the dual target masters. And I know that I said my one, and I gave good reason for it, but I got to get it honorable mention to the second thing that I'm looking forward to the most, and that's going to be KFC Centro Barbosa, or however you say it. Basically your Captain Shark, your third party, and what we kind of we've talked about quite a bit on this Aftercast and some on the Cybercast as well, because it's a Brave figure. It's the first third party Brave figure, and I have a lot of hopes for that because that could open up some doors. If it sells really good, will we see more? Will just KFC stick with it, or with other companies maybe jump on it as well? So that's the one thing I really want to see, and also the fact that they're coming out with 3 different. It's basically the same mold. 3 different characters. There's a few remoldings done to each one of them in different paint jobs. But I want the Captain Shark one to sell the best. Yeah. And it seems like that's what they're using to kind of headline the trio, as well as, like, look what we have here. You have these other guys, but here's the Captain Shark, right there in the middle. And I hope Captain Shark sells way better than the rest of them, so that they're like, look, we need to do more Brave stuff. It kind of opens the door for that. So that's the way that I think third parties need to go down. You either do something that Hasbro Dakar is not going to do, or you do something that is just totally kind of out of left field that other third-party companies or Hasbro Dakar really didn't have any plans on doing, that you're very unique in it. And I think that's going to be the thing that I think will make the first third-party company to do things like that and really, carry down or go down that road is going to be very successful, whether they're new or established.
Yeah.
I mean, you can only have so many Optimus Primes and Starscreams and and stuff like that. So, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. For me, it would probably be the same. I would go with Star Saber, just because I'm Victory Saber, so he's half of the equation. So I've always loved Star Saber. I got into the Japanese series with Victory first, then Super God Master Force, and so I'm really looking forward to having a posable Star Saber and such. It's going to be awesome. But maybe an honorable mention, and I'm saving up a lot for it, but it's not a Transformers. But I am hopefully going to get the USS Flag this year.
No!
I've been putting money aside for that for a while, and
Wow.
I was either going to go with Grandis, or not Grandis, but Grandmax, or I was going to go with the USS Flag, and I've made room in my toy room so I could display it, and I've already dropped hints. I've already asked my wife at times when she's not really paying attention. So USS Flag, does that sound good? Sure, honey. Well, I don't know what's going on, Sarah. Okay. All right. Cool. So I have a
Better hope she
document
don't-
here that you
Better
can
hope she don't
sign
Google it.
and stuff
Better
like
hope
that.
she
So
don't Google it.
So how much does that go for, Jane?
I can get one probably in the $2,000 complete, 2 to 3.
Okay.
Okay, so you're going after the vintage original 80s G.I. Joe flag,
Yeah.
right?
It- As long as your bed flag.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
And
The-
I don't know. It's
the
something
one
that
that
I
got-
wanted.
The one that got released a couple of years back, was it shorter or something?
I didn't know there was one released.
I didn't know anything.
There was
Okay.
design plans for one that was based off of the G.I. Joe Resolute movie
Okay.
or a show, but they never came into.
It never came?
No,
Okay.
it never came in. It was the dual kind of looking, kind of like Warbot Assaulter, kind of the
Yeah.
dual kind of looking aircraft carrier type thing. But no, it never came out.
Oh,
But
okay.
that's what I'm looking at. But Star Saber though is a must-have, and that's guaranteed. But yeah, I'm really looking at getting the USS Flag. So.
And
that's not
how is
funny.
your wife going to take this when she sees the size of this thing?
She'll put a smile on and say, "Okay, honey,
He's
that
gonna-
goes in your room somewhere." I'm like, "Yes, it goes right here. I've made room. I'm gonna have little Conquests and Sky Strikers, coming off of, I have them hooked to the ceiling. I'm gonna come right onto it and stuff. So, yeah, it's gonna be cool. But
gonna move his son out to the garage.
yeah, got my daughter out in the
Knocks on
shed
his
in the
daughter's-
backyard.
Knocks on his daughter's door. You know what? We're gonna get rid of this bed. You guys are getting bunk beds.
Oh, my son already has bunk beds. I love going into his room with a tape measure at times. Like, Dad, what are you doing? Just measuring. Oh, this looks good. You got nice, good 12-foot ceilings. That's perfect. You really don't like this stuff over here, do you? But no. I'm allocated to 2 rooms in our house, and I have to stick within it. So I'll probably end up burning all the boxes back there or something. I don't know, but so I guess that's it. I mean, that's cool. You got a lot of great things, expensive and good things coming out. So cool. All right, so we'll end it there. We've been going on for over an hour and a half or so. I don't know, but thanks for all our live viewers. Really do appreciate it. Again, we're here every Saturday around 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. Today we were 9:30, but so if you guys want to out yourselves, starting with what?
I was saying sorry because we ended late on
Oh, no,
Aftercast.
that's not a big deal. Doesn't matter. Still have the same amount of viewers and everything else, so it worked. So, Chris, tell us where we can find you and what you do in the real world.
Well, you can find me at my house, which is in Newport if you haven't come to Newport. But yeah, you can find me at Bad Prime Games on Facebook and YouTube, with the name being like around. No, that's completely off camera. You can find me around there. Not even there, by there. Yeah, I'm tired. But yeah, hi, and I guess bye. And in the real world, I
Oh, you
will
don't
be
have to answer
sleeping.
Curious, Chris, if you open those curtains right there, are we gonna see the sun?
Let me check. Just
Let's see. Because I know sometimes we do see the sun. Switch them.
Chris is our dedicated fan who
Yep.
does not care for sleep and will join us no matter what.
He'll sleep when he's dead.
Well, we appreciate the dedication. Charles, you're up.
I'm Charles. Find me on Twitter and Instagram at Optimus4Prez, and Xbox Live is AutoCon365.
And you're coming up with a Facebook page and a website, I heard.
No.
No? Yes? Okay.
Charles, you're on Instagram?
Yeah.
It's Optimus4Prez?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll have to look it up. Do you post stuff there?
Oh yeah, I posted quite a few pictures this week and a little video.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, okay.
What a cutie.
I'll go check it out, man. I didn't know you were on there.
Is Instagram then replace Facebook now?
Dude, I've only been using Instagram for 4 weeks, and I've been using Twitter for 3 or 4 years. I've got more followers in a month on Instagram than I do on my Twitter.
Wow.
People just like pictures.
They do.
Okay, yeah.
All right,
I don't post on Twitter that much.
Sorry.
All right, go ahead. Sorry.
I'm Dalton. You can find me on YouTube at DaltoniansTF Reviews and on Twitter at DaltoniansTF75.
Cool. Are you coming up with a website?
No.
All right.
I might be getting an Instagram when I get a new phone, though.
Oh, Instagram. All right. Keep the pictures G-rated, man. That's all I ask.
I'm not gonna be following them because you never know what might pop up. We know what comes out of his mouth. I don't want to know what we're taking pictures of. So.
It'll be G-rated.
All right, Jay.
So was this show until you run it.
Find me on Twitter at NemesisJazz13.
And when are you going to start doing reviews?
Probably never.
Oh, man.
I'm planning
Josh.
on doing Twitch in the future, not reviews.
Fine. Be that way. Josh, you're up.
I am? Okay.
Yeah.
I forgot what we were doing. What are we doing?
G1 Hexatron. You can find him on Twitter. YouTube, all that stuff.
Okay, yeah.
There you go.
G1 Hexatron on YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. And my Facebook page is the G1 Hexatron. We were just making fun of everyone as we went. I forgot what we were doing. I thought we were doing like a roast or something. I forgot.
And Torrance?
You can find me at Trents5, Facebook, and Twitter.
I know. And I am James Victory Saber 77. You can find me Twitter and YouTube. And don't forget, we do have a website. It has been revamped, but it's still up and running and functioning. So join us. We're cybercastnetwork.com. We also have a Twitter page, cybercastnet. Like our Facebook, Cybercast Network. And our shows, I mean, Dakota's not here, but you can follow him, Primal Sabbath, everywhere, anywhere, any website, you'll find Primal Sabbath.
Russian mail order bride sites, everything.
That's just the tip of the iceberg. But we have the topic show every Tuesday at, did he say 7 o'clock? We're doing 7 now?
7 p.m.
7 p.m. Central Standard Time. So it's on his YouTube channel, so check that out also. And we have the Cybercast every Saturday at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. So there we go. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you next week. Take it easy, guys.
Later.
Bye.
Bye.